Hello again. Welcome back to video number 6 on programming in C. My name is G, and today we will be talking about constants or constant variables. Consts. Let's just dive in. So, in programming, in any programming language that you're ever going to come across, there are going to be something called keywords. A programming language has keywords. Keywords are predefined words in a programming language with a specific use. So, for example, we have the return keyword. Actually, let me just show you a couple of the keywords in C. Here, look at all of those nice keywords. Let them just roll by for a minute. Today, however, we are talking about the keyword const. And const stands for constant. All right. So to understand what a constant is, we need to understand a bit more about what a variable is and does. Now we've looked into in previous videos like how variables are stored in memory, so we understand that it's a way of storing something, a value of sorts, in memory. So a variable is a named storage location in memory, and by default, the value of a variable can change throughout the execution of your program as long as you don't specify otherwise. So for example, if I create an integer variable and call it my variable, or my var, and then I give it the value 14 and then put a semicolon at the end here, and then we use the printf function to print out that variable. Right, let's run this program. And we go to terminal, and it says my variable 14. Again, what makes a variable a variable? By default, it can change its value throughout the execution of your program. And so if I now go in and say my var is 25, now I've changed the value of the variable my var. You know, the program executes from top to bottom, and we have first we declare this variable, we say that it's 14, and then we print that variable to screen, and then we change the value of that variable, and then we can print the value of that variable again. So if I do this and we run, and now it says my variable is 14 and my variable is 25. So at two different times throughout the execution of this program, this variable has two different values. Now let's look at a constant variable. A constant variable is a constant is a variable where we have specified that the value of that variable cannot change during the execution of your program. It's declared once, and then it stays that way until the end of your program. You can say it is immutable, meaning that it cannot be changed. You can say that it is read-only, is another way of saying that. So we declare a variable to be a constant using the const keyword. So let's remove these two lines here and add const right there. So that same variable is now const. It's a constant. So let's run that. And we can see that my variable is 14. So far so good. Nothing's really changed until you try to change that variable. Let's see what happens then. Well, first of all, IntelliSense is going to tell us that this is not going to work. It's saying must be a modifiable value. But if we just try to run it and just ignore this for now, let's see what happens. We get error exists after running gcc blah blah blah. So show errors, we can see in the terminal that it says error, assignment of read-only variable, my variable, that's the name of it, and there. So it's telling us this variable is read-only, you cannot change it. First, the IntelliSense in Visual Studio Code will tell you you can't do this. Then, if you try to build it, the compiler will be like, whoa, don't do that. So yeah, that's how a constant works. But wait, you may ask, isn't calling it a constant variable oxymoronic? Like, you're saying that it's a value that it can change, but it can't change, right? Well, actually, in programming, the term variable only refers to some storage and the symbol or alias that is tied to it. So calling it a variable in programming doesn't actually say anything about its mutability. So yeah, calling it a constant variable is correct in programming. So we know what it does, and we know what to call it. But why would I ever use a constant variable? What's the value of this? Couldn't I always just not use constants? Well, let's look at an example. Let's say that you're working on some medium-sized code base together with other developers. You expect other people to make changes to the code that you have written. Declaring some variables to be constant tells the other developers something about your intentions with that variable. Also, if they try to change that variable after it has been declared, it will cause a compilation error to let them know that they're not allowed to change it. So just like we saw here. That's a good thing, since your code may depend on that variable being unchanged. Say your code calculates the area of a circle, right? Using the constant pi. If someone makes a change to the value of pi after it has been declared, then your calculations will be incorrect after that change. So that's why you may want to write into your program that it should be constant. Another reason why you might want to use constants is that const lets your compiler optimize your program. Since the value of const never changes, then the compiler doesn't have to allocate memory for that value. The value can just be compiled directly into your executable where it is needed. So you end up with less memory-hungry programs. There is also something called define, but let's skip that for now. So yeah, we have seen that variables can change throughout the execution of your program, and we have seen that constants cannot. And that's the point that I wanted to drive home in this video. So see you in the next one.